Okay, it should be going. Well, I think that we're ready to go. It says live on Facebook here on my screen. So I think that we're good to go. Thanks everybody for coming back here for our next session here, virtual session. We're really excited about today because a lot of questions have been asked of us about these SBA loans, the disaster funds, and when are those eligible, and when can we apply, and how do we apply? And so really excited to have Kemmiko Grant from, she's the SBDC business advisor, works at TCC in the SBDC. And so she's going to explain a little bit about her background, what she's been working on, what she's seen, and then give you some advice on how to apply for these loans. So with that, I will turn it over to Kem and let her go and give you some good information. Kem?
Hello, everyone. My name is Kim Grant, and I am a business advisor for our Small Business Development Center. And that's what SBDC stands for, in case you wonder, Small Business Development Center. We are located here in Tarrant County at 1150 South Freeway. In the same building as the city, SCORE, if you're familiar with SCORE, which we work very closely with. And a little bit about myself as to why I am qualified. I feel that I'm qualified to do this call is my background. I have 25 years in banking. I've worked at various large banks such as Chase, BBVA Compass, Comerica, and most recently SBA. I was actually a part of the SBA disaster team for Hurricane Michael as well as Hurricane Harvey. So I've seen the disaster from a business standpoint, because one of the jobs that I had for those roles were to actually help businesses get back to what we call quote unquote normal after a disaster. Here at SBDC, just a little bit about what we do here in case you are not familiar with SBDC. We are a resource of SBA, which means that when you as a small business owner have a problem, question, you need cash flow questions, you need business planning, you need anything to help you get to that next level, that's where we as SBDC advisors that's where we come in. There are, in this particular office for Tarrant County, and we do serve all of Tarrant County, 32 counties, all 32 counties. I actually live in Fort Worth, so my heart, of course, is at Fort Worth. So love Fort Worth to death, and definitely love the small business aspect of it. Now, at SBDC, with the 5 advisors, back to the 5 advisors, there's 5 advisors covering the 32 counties, and then we have 2 office administrators as well as a director. Now, we actually are here, and believe it or not, our fees are, and I say little to no fee. Yes, the services are free. However, when I say little to no fee, what I mean is we actually require your time to work on your business. And as we know, especially as business owners, time is of money, okay? It's monetary, and we're part of your tax dollars. And just how we came about and how we are, we're actually a grant funded through the state of Texas, and we're hosted by TCC. We're fortunate enough to be hosted by a college, and TCC is our host college. And with that being said, you'll see TCC all around us. So we support not just the state of Texas, but also TCC, which happens to all stand for small businesses, because we understand the importance of small businesses. So enough about me. I'm ready for questions.
Well, did you want to go through just a little bit? I know you had a couple of slides there. Did you want to talk a little bit about some of that fact sheet and maybe bring up that website we were looking at earlier just to give them a little information?
Sure, absolutely. One of the things that I want you all to know is, as small business owners, that not only is SBA behind your back, but you also have the banks. You have various banks that are out there as well, or traditional lendings such as People Fund, Lift Fund. Those are all entities that are out there and that are there for you. Now, one of the things I want to share, and this is where a lot of people, a lot of business owners have seemed to have a lot of questions and a lot of hesitations, and that is the website to SBA. So I'm going to actually go on the website of SBA, and I'm going to show you some steps on how to apply and what you should be looking for as a business owner. So if you will, I'm actually sharing my screen. And we're going to actually go to the fact sheet.
All right.
This is the fact sheet. And before we get to the fact sheet, I guess I kind of wanted to show you all how to get here, because that's one of the things that people have asked. Just simply go to sba.gov. And once you get to the sba.gov, you're going to see the Coronavirus Small Business Guidance and Loan Resource. Now, once you get there, just scroll down to your Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. And you just check here to apply.
So we're just seeing the fact sheet. We're not seeing you scroll through the website.
Okay. Okay, bear with me. First time I've used this.
There we go.
There we are. So I'm going to take that down, and I'm going to now, can we now see my the website of SBA?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. That's where we want to be. So now that you're in the website, one of the things that I recommend that people do before they get started, see if you're eligible. You're going to see the 3 circles: eligible, apply online, and check application status. Once you get your,
I'm gonna stop you again. Sorry, we're still on the handout, the PDF.
oh, okay. Now, are we there?
There we go. Okay, now
All
we're
right. Yay, score. Okay, so we're going to go through the website once again, sba.gov, coronavirus, and the disaster loan assistance. So as I was saying, one of the things you want to do is make sure that you're eligible first for this loan. So you just hit the eligible tab. And please be patient, because one of the things I want you to remember, there's one website and there are a million small businesses trying to get this assistance. So please exercise your patience when we're dealing with going through the website, because when I was home, my website actually crashed and I couldn't get through it, but it looks like it's actually gonna happen this time. So, but it's moving slow. And while we're waiting for that to come up, and I just want to just talk about some of the eligibility that you're wanting to look at, because keep in mind, this is to help you with your workflow to get you back to where you were prior to this disaster. Okay, so looks like it's there. And then we want to click in the good old state of Texas. County is not going to appear simply because our Governor Abbott actually declared all counties as part of the disaster. So therefore, you're not going to find a county. Tarrant County is not going to be there because it's already on the actual form, and I'll show you that once the system takes me to our next screen. And once again, we want to definitely practice our patience when it comes to the website, because a lot of people are actually applying right now. And so while we are waiting, I'm going to give a plug a little bit about SBDC. SBDC, as I was saying, the services are free. So when you find yourself needing a business plan, and I know businesses always need a business plan, please let us talk to us first. I know when I was a banker, especially a commercial loan officer, one of the things I wish I knew that SBDC did exist, simply because SBDC can actually help you with your projections. They can help you with your loan package. They can, I do advise you get a CPA, but however, SBDC can help you with various things that you wouldn't normally know. My screen has gone to the next page. Now that you see Texas, and you're going to see various Texas along with New Mexico, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Arkansas, but all we really want is Texas. Corona 19. And I love this because it's real live, and it's actually going to show you that you really will have to practice your patience. Now, this is the decoration, and this is what we've been waiting for to get to in order to apply for the loan. And as you can see, our good county of Tarrant County is right there. Now, the fact sheet is the sheet that I actually had up prior. And if it takes a while, then I've already pulled it up because I just wanted to make sure that we were there. So I'm gonna do a new share so we can get that fact sheet since I already have it. A little bit about the fact sheet. This is actually the most important factor of this entire loan. And as you can see, state of Texas, the number that we are looking for is the decoration number. And if you could see my screen, that's 16381. That's the decoration number that we've been waiting for. The occurrence had to be January 31st, 2020. All counties within the state of Texas. And if you know other folks in these other counties, of course, let them know that this is their decoration number is 16381. The filing deadline right now is December the 21st of 2020. And all that means is if this disaster is over in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, however, you have until December the 21st of 2021 to complete an application. What the loan is for? It's actually available for the working capital loans to help small businesses, small agriculture cooperatives, small business engaged in agriculture, and most private nonprofit organization of all size meeting their original and necessary financial obligation that could not be met as a direct result of the disaster. These loans are intended to assist through the disaster recovery period. So what that means is if the disaster period is for the next 3 weeks, 2 weeks, month, then these funds are meant to help cover you through those times. Credit requirements. And once again, you can see this once you pull it up, but I just want to make sure that you all understand they're going to be looking for a couple things: credit history, your repayment ability, and any type of collateral for anything that's over $25,000. So if it's under $25,000, they're not looking at collateral based, they're just looking for signatures. But if it's over $25,000, they're going to be looking for some type of collateral. Interest rate max is 3.75. You're probably not going to find another loan lower than 3.75. If you do, jump on it. Maximum terms, 30 years. And they're also going to give you a whole year before you make your first payment. That to me is that is one of the things that we can, as small business owners, thank the government, because this is a tremendous loan to help you recover and get back to where you should be or where you were prior to the disaster. The loan is up to $2 million per entity per disaster. So this one disaster is up to $2 million, and that's for one entity. I want to really stay a little bit on what this is about. So if you had another SBA loan out there, That loan is not going to be combined with this loan. Totally separate deal. So please understand that if you've got an SBA loan out there already, don't worry, you can still apply for this loan. But keep in mind, this money cannot be used to refinance that other loan. It can only be used to help you get back to where you were prior to the disaster. In some cases, and your loan officer is going to discuss this with you, they may even require some type of insurance. They may require you to have some type of insurance. Now, once again, your loan officer is going to discuss that with you in more detail, and in some cases, you may not have to. You can apply online through the website that we just gave you, but once again, it's on this fact sheet. The actual loan department is right here in Fort Worth, so we're fortunate enough to have the loan processing center right here in Fort Worth. And there's a phone number of 800-877-8339 if you need any help. Now, if for some reason you still need help with this loan, SBDC is here to help out as well. You can contact SBDC through tarrantsbdc.org. Once again, tarrantsbdc.org, or you can call our main number, which is 817-515-2603. Once again, 817-515-2603. Chris, that's the fact sheet. It's very cut and dry.
Right. So we had a couple of questions come in here as you were talking. So first one, so who qualifies? Are there companies that, this wouldn't be eligible for, or is really just anybody out there can apply for these?
Well, actually, there are some companies that are not eligible for the program, Chris. And what I would recommend that the person that's asking that question, either call your local SBDC office or your local SBA office, the phone number that I just gave you, and see if you're qualified. But before you do that, go through the eligible tab that we went through earlier to see if you're actually eligible first. That's one of the things. So don't disqualify yourself before you qualify yourself. See if you actually qualify through going through that tab, once again, that I went through, which were the 3 circles of SBA, and I'm trying to get back there now so I can show you. So you can actually go through the eligibility to see if you're actually eligible for this loan.
Great. Question number 2, to be approved, what documents will the bank or the SBA need from a small business, and how long will it take? I know you mentioned that a little bit before, but business plans, obviously financial histories, things like that. What other documents should our folks start to assemble before they reach out?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. And as a matter of fact, one of the things that SBA does have, and they have this on their website, they actually have a list, and the website just crashed, as I said earlier. It just it's back. Before we go there, Chris, if you don't mind, I just want to kind of go through this to let someone see what I was referring to as 4C eligible disaster area. Check that out first before you disqualify yourself. And back to your question, Chris, SBA actually has on their screen what documents they're going to be looking for. And why I'm finding that, I'm gonna actually, if you don't mind, I want to just kind of go back to the fact sheet because I want to stay on that. I just want everybody to be able to see that fact sheet. But the documents that they need to be having, and once again, it's on the SBA website, they need to sign a form for the 4506T, which will prompt them once they're actually in the application for them to sign for the 4506T, which is just the form letting the IRS know that SBA will be pulling their tax return. They will need to have 3 years of tax return. They're also going to be signing a personal financial statement. That personal financial statement is once again on the SBA website. And that form is called SBA Form 413. And they're actually going to be asking for each principal owner that owns 20% or more. So if you own a business and you own 20% of that business, then you're going to have to fill out a personal financial statement. So hypothetically, let's say that Chris, you and I have a business and I own 80% of that business and you own 20% of that business. Although I am the majority owner, Chris, you still would have to fill out a personal financial statement. And I would also need the SBA would also need your tax return. Schedule liabilities, listing all the liabilities that you have. So those are the documents that are going to be necessary up front. So I would highly recommend every small business that's going to apply to go ahead and get their tax returns together, because if you send in a complete package, the chances of you getting an approval will be a whole lot faster than, of course, the loan officer having to call you and then get a copy of your financial statement, a copy of your tax return. Go ahead and get this package together. Once again, it's just 5 things. The application is online already. It's called Form 5. It's online when you fill out the when you go to that website. It's going to prompt you on the 4506T. Go ahead and sign that. That should take care of that. The only thing that they're going to be lacking from you, of course, is going to be your financial statement, your tax returns. So go ahead and get a hard copy. And I know you're saying, oh, if I'm going to sign that 4506T and they're going to get a copy of my tax return from the IRS, then why do they need a copy of my hard copy of my tax return? That's because the loan officer is going to need that, because there's certain things on the 4506T, a form from the IRS, that they're not going to have, and they're going to need to know that information, and they can only get that from your hard copy of your tax return. And make sure you include all schedules, all copies. So if you've got pages that you think that were on your tax return that is one of 16, and you feel like 13 through 16 isn't applicable, no, don't think that. The loan officer is going to need 1 through 16.
Great. What is considered a small business? We keep talking small business. Is there a certain size of employment or revenue that would not make you eligible for this? What does that look like? What's that definition?
A small business is just that. A small business can consist of yourself, because once again, you were serving the community. You actually, if you register with the state of Texas with an LLC or a corporation, or you register with the county with a DBA, then and you're actually doing legit business, then you are actually a small business.
Okay. What about time frame? I know it depends upon, like you just said, getting the right documentation to that loan officer, but in theory, what does that typical time frame look like from when application is submitted to when it's approved, or then when you would actually receive the money?
Well, that's a really good question, Chris. And it's a question that I really can't answer, because that question is really going to be depending on, of course, the workflow that they have. It's going to depend on you as an applicant, turning yourself into an actual client of SBA, because once you complete that application, you're just an applicant until you get approved. But once you so all I can say, I can't give you a time frame. My colleagues right now, as a matter of fact, they're in a call with SBA going over what the process would be and what it should be, and they will know all the steps. So within the coming hours, days, we're going to know a little bit more of that. But for right now, I don't want to give us a time frame. But all I can say to the small business owner, don't let the hesitation or don't let the delay be yours. Send in all the documents that's required, that's going to be asked of you when you fill out that application. Therefore, you know that if there's a lack in the time of funding, that it's not you, it's not on you.
Okay, great. Another question here, technical question. Do we need a FEMA registration number, or is that the number you had at the top of that FAQ or that fact sheet?
Yes, as a matter of fact, you will, but let's talk a little bit about FEMA. FEMA is not a part of this. FEMA is for actual consumers, okay? FEMA would be for your home if your home was destroyed. FEMA is not for small businesses. This is going to be an SBA low interest rate loan to help small businesses.
Great. Another question here, are these funds separate from the small business interruption loans that are in the CARES bill that's going through right now, which has the $350 billion of it signed? Are these two separate things?
These are two separate things. Once again, you got the declaration, And the declaration number, and we'll answer the last question as well. 16381 is your declaration number. You can start hitting submit, getting your application. You can, if you've got all your documents, submit an application the moment we get off this telephone.
Great. Another question here is about talking about tax returns. So the last 3 years of tax returns, you said. Now, does that include 2019 if somebody hasn't filed their taxes for this year yet after they've extended the deadline for that? Or is it 18, 17, 16 tax years?
And once again, I'm speaking for information that I've got from the past. The new information is being delivered today. So I'm not sure, I can just tell you this. If you don't have 19 because of the extension, then go ahead and do 18, 17, and 16.
Great. Well, I think we've gotten through most of the questions. A lot of the other questions we have here, just about, well, another question just popped up here. Where is the fact sheet? And I believe you had mentioned that where the fact sheet was on the SBA website. Maybe, I don't know if you want to, go through that
Yeah,
again.
absolutely. Absolutely. If you will, I'm going to change the stream again, and we're going to go through this again. And I'm just going to go back to the SBA website. So if you go through the website, it's going to tell you, this is what it's going to look like when you do sba.gov. And that's what you're doing, sba.gov. And you're going to learn more about COVID-19. Then it's going to give you a little bit more. Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. Click here to apply. And you can also do the bottom tab, which is sba.gov/disaster, if you want to get there quicker. But from a apply standpoint, eligible disaster areas. And once you're in that queue, that's where you're going to actually find the fact sheet.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where you're going to find the fact sheet. And once again, exercise patience when you're dealing with this. There we are right here. And then you just put in Texas. Once again, all counties are declared, so you don't have to put a county. Filter. So if you know other folks that are harmed in other states, just put in their state and it will take you to their fact sheet as well, because they're gonna, it's a separate number. Their disaster number is going to be separate from Texas disaster number. Okay, the system is unavailable. That's what it means when the system has crashed. And all it means is that a lot of applicants have gone in from the time we just went in there and now, and all you do is just hit your backspace button and it'll take you back and you just keep trying until you can get in there. And once you can get in there, then that's when you're going to actually see your fact sheet.
So a couple more questions here just came in. One was about a credit line. If you have money available on a credit line through a current bank, does it disqualify the company from applying through this program? Some previous literature almost read that you could only qualify if it was really the last resort. So if you have some bandwidth on a credit line, are you still able to apply for this?
Well, here's what I'm recommending everyone do. Yes, if you got credit through a credit line, yes, but if you can get credit elsewhere, then yes, they're recommending that you go elsewhere and you get that loan, get those monies from other sources. That's what I've mentioned before. Traditional banks have program going on. I know for a fact, Lift Fund and People Fund, they have things going on, and that's for micro credit lines. I would recommend that you go ahead and see if you qualify. It will not hurt you. Don't disqualify yourself simply because you feel that you don't qualify in your head. Go ahead and qualify. Let the loan officer tell you that you don't qualify. But once again, if you for some reason know that you can get your monies from a bank and you can get it quicker and faster, and you have that relationship with that bank, then by all means go there as well. But once again, don't disqualify yourself in the head. Talk to your loan officer, let the loan officer tell you.
Great. Another question, it was mentioned that this is a loan only to get back what you've lost in the disaster. What are examples of that? How do we do this now if we don't know how long this could last?
Well, we can't, I don't think any of us can answer how long this is going to last because we don't know. We've never been here before, so therefore we have no history. But I can just talk to you about just previous hurricanes. For example, Hurricane Michael hit Florida on a Thursday, and that disaster was over on that Thursday. So if the person, if you're trying to, if that particular business was going to be expanding their business and building, let's say they were building, they had plans of expanding and building another building someplace else. That loan isn't meant to help them expand. That loan is only meant to help them recover and get back on their feet prior to the disaster, which means anything that happened the night of that disaster, the day of that disaster, it's only meant to help you be back where you were then and not a moment earlier.
Great. There's one other question on here, but it has to do with employees and really more of an HR. And so we will follow up with that person directly because that's
Good.
Probably not in your wheelhouse.
No,
there.
it's not in my wheelhouse, no.
So that's all the questions that I have gotten submitted to us. Is there anything else do you want to wrap up with, or anything else we should know? I mean, obviously, the website's the most important thing. Don't disqualify yourself. Reach out to yourself or the SBA. Ask those questions to make sure that whether you are or not eligible. But that's the first step. But anything else?
No, I just want to really just say SBA, SBDC, SCORE, the Box Center, we're all here for you. We're here to help you as a business owner get back on your feet and get back to where you are, because we understand that the small business is the root of the economy, and without you, there would be no me. So stay small business and stay out there and know that we're here for you.
Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate you taking the time with us, Kim, to give us some information. And for those of you who are tuned in, a lot of information here. And this video will be available on our Facebook to replay and on our website and whatnot. So any other questions, feel free to reach out to us, and we'll see if we can't get that information. So with that, we will end today's session and look forward to seeing you hopefully again tomorrow. We have Cameron Cushman from UNT Health Science, but Sparkyard. We're going to talk about not small business, but we're going to talk about entrepreneur and startup resources. And so he's going to talk about that tomorrow. So tune in again tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And Kim, again, thank you for the time.
Anytime. Thank you again for the opportunity.
Bye-bye.
Bye.